On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Shannon gets attacked by a Roomba, Ethan befriends a lizard dog, and Tony defends Earth from aliens and giant crabs. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer your question. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
I think I have the sound issues worked out for the most part this week, aside from your obvious one.
Yeah, we got to get the cutting out issue taken care of. I got some things I'm going to try this week, so hopefully next week it'll be fixed. If not, we will continue to work on it and get it squared away so that it's not an issue in.
Actually, you just talk to Tony in real life. That's how he sounds. He just cuts out every so often.
Shh. I don't want people to think I need an upgrade. I'm not a Cyberman, Ethan.
It could be brain damage. You never know.
What? I feel insulted now.
I'm not saying you have brain damage. You're the one who's like, oh, I'm not a cyborg. You're anti-cyborg. Imagine all the feeling of all the cyborgs you just hurt. Gosh. So insensitive.
Sorry. Oh, well. But also, joining us this week, he's back. Shannon's here.
Cyborgs have no feelings. They are removed as part of the upgrade process.
It's true.
I don't know. I watched Outlaw Star. Melfina had a bunch of feelings on there.
What was that one show with... It was like a sitcom in the late 80s or the early 90s with the robot girl. She was like the maid of the family.
The Jetsons?
No, it was a live action. Oh my gosh, that's going to drive me crazy now.
Well, now I'm curious what this show is.
Small Wonders?
Yes, I think that's what it was.
Or Small Wonders?
Vicky. Vicky was the little robot girl.
Small Wonder is an American comedy science fiction sitcom that blah 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 blah. Creates a robot modeled after a human girl, then tries to pass it off as their adopted daughter, Vicky.
Yep, that's it.
I've never heard of this.
Me neither.
That's it.
All right.
Show's
4
as old
seasons.
as I am.
Add to list. Oh, man.
So, there you go. She was a robot who had feelings, I think.
She emulated.
And then, on Star Trek, Data got the chip inserted that would let him feel emotion.
Oh, this thing tastes awful. Would you like some more? Yes, please. Best line from him doing that.
So there you go. Some robots and cyborgs do have emotions.
Johnny Five is alive.
That's right. That is right. So, all right. Well, let's not talk about robots. Let's talk about some other things, like some video games. Shannon, what have you been playing while you were out?
So, funny story involving a robot.
Oh, no.
So I've been playing a lot of PSVR, mostly because this week wife and kids are out of town, and it's like the one opportunity to have the door shut, nobody bothering you, and just completely immerse yourself in something like Beat Saber. I turn the volume all the way up on the stereo so I can feel the bass on the wood floor, and put my headphones on and get it real loud, and turn the lights off and put the headset as close to my eyes as I possibly can, just black out everything. And you get so into it that you don't realize that something else might be running around in the room.
Like a burglar.
Like a Roomba. Because I gave Lauren a Roomba for Christmas, and I forgot to turn off the auto cleaning schedule.
Oh no.
So imagine you're just swiping away with some amazing futuristic lightsabers at a song called $100 Bills, and you're trying to get into it, and something just rubs up against your foot out of nowhere, unbeknownst to you. Terrified, scared the crap out of me. I didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe it was a rat in the house. Nope, just the Roomba trying to do its job.
It's like, move, human, I'm trying to clean.
Yep. So now, when I do decide to put the VR goggles on, the first thing I check is the Roomba's cleaning schedule for today. To make sure that in the next couple hours, it's not going to come and try to attack me.
That is fantastic.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, so this week, been playing a lot of VR. Beat Saber has been number one on the list because it got on PlayStation VR, Beat Saber got a 10-song music pack added as DLC on PlayStation Network. The songs are $1.99 a piece if you buy them individually, or you can get it all as I think it's the Mad Cat music pack or something funky like that. But you can get them all for $13 if you buy it as a bundle, so save some money.
Bad.
No, not at all. And the songs, one thing I love, so rhythm games are notorious for cutting song lengths in order to fit a ton of music into the game. These songs are, for the most part, all full length 3 to 5 minute songs, which is super nice. Actually kind of makes you feel like you're getting your money's worth out of it. That's not something I can exactly say for things like games like DJ Max, because DJ Max, a lot of those songs are abridged in length. But yeah, really, really, really enjoy Beat Saber. It's a lot of fun. I also did play some Wipeout Omega Collection with Shelby today in PSVR.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, man. So I know I've discussed this in the past. I don't know if it was on this podcast or if it was on Nintendo Oki before, But so the best advice I have, if anybody ever decides to play that game in PSVR, is turn your tracking, your camera tracking to the pilot, and turn the blinders off. It's called like VR safety mode or something, and you have options to make them small, medium, large, or just turn them off. Turn the blinders off. Turn the blinders off. You want to go to the fastest possible, you want to go to 200cc is what you want to do. You want to go to the fastest you can. You want to be as close to the edge as you could possibly be. And then you want to pick, I forget the name of the track. It's like
Baby Park.
No, it's something climb. It's like the city climb or something. But when you pick that track at A+ speed ranking and you have VR mode on, it literally gives you a warning before it lets you select the track. It says, in VR mode, some users experience extreme motion sickness. It is highly recommended that you turn, and it defaults to turn all of those features back on. So if you go back in and turn all of them off once you select that track.
Oh my gosh.
Is amazing. And the first time we get all the way up to the top of the city, and then you go off the ledge, and your perspective just drops 90 degrees, and you are going straight down the side of this building. The first time it happened, I just felt my stomach in my throat. It was awesome. This game is so good. This is one of this and Beat Saber and Super Hot and the Project Diva VR Future Live. Man, there's just so much good stuff on PlayStation VR. Man, yeah, Shelby and I had a lot of fun just trying to keep. I don't think Shelby experiences motion sickness at all, but for me, every now and again, I have one of those moments where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of been my week though.
Yeah, I really, really want to play Beat Saber, but I'm not gonna buy a VR headset for, one or two games that okay, I'm gonna make a liar out of myself in a little while, so I better not talk. Um, but I really, really want to play Beat Saber, and it's getting harder and harder to say, you know what, maybe I don't need a VR headset, but I'm gonna buy one.
I'm gonna put it this way: Beat Saber comes as a pack-in with the most recent bundle, alongside with Borderlands. I don't know
Yeah,
how good Borderlands VR is, Borderlands 2 VR, but Beat Saber, if this was out a year and a half ago, I would have bought PSVR for it. I bought PSVR to play Superhot, and the for all of the shortcomings that Superhot has, because there are some serious issues with hand tracking, and like throwing weapons in
mm-hmm.
Superhot. It is very difficult. I Beat Saber has the most one-to-one, perfectly accurate representation of where your hands are. I don't know how they do it. It is perfect. It is everything that you would want from a rhythm game, because I have not accidentally, or I have not had an input, like I have not swiped a block coming at me and not had it register. Every single time I'm doing something, it is one-to-one representation, which I can't say that for every other VR game, because every other
That's
VR
really
game,
good.
yeah, every other VR game, you have a moment where like your hand drifts a little,
Mm-hmm.
or you might try to throw a shuriken, and for some reason you let go of it and it just drops straight down, even though you gave it enough momentum to actually go across the room into the dude's face.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know what they're doing in Beat Saber, but it's great. I also really enjoy the fact that after loading the game, there is not a second of loading in between songs. When you hit a song and you hit play, it is instant. You are in the song. It is awesome. There's no downtime. It's great.
That is awesome.
So, if I didn't own a PSVR before Beat Saber coming out, I would have bought it just for Beat Saber. It is that good. So,
Awesome. Was that it?
unless you guys want to talk about Dead or Alive. You guys want to talk about
What's going on with Dead or Alive?
6 weeks after that game came out, they finally have lobby mode.
Hey.
Yay! Thing that should have been there before launch is finally there.
A thing that was in the menus of the demo, like in the stupid demo a month before launch, lobby mode was there. And the game comes out. They haven't said anything prior to release about lobby mode being delayed. Shelby and I both pick it up. Day one, can't play. Ranked only. It's ridiculous. But here we are, month and a half later. Lobby mode's in there. It works really well. You should have the ability to add more time to your character select screen. For some reason, 20 seconds is all it gives you, which is not enough time, especially if you're trying to pick specific outfits and change hairstyles and put
It takes
glasses
like forever to load between all that change too, doesn't it?
Yeah, there should be a way to add more time. There are other fighting games that, like Kohime Enbu, that it's just unlimited time. I think 99 seconds in between rounds to pick your characters. I don't know why in the world Dead or Alive only give you 20 seconds. Tekken is real similar. I think Tekken is only 10 or 15 seconds in between fights to pick a character. It's not
maybe
enough time.
maybe they're trying to be more serious about the tournament fighter scene this time around. I don't know.
Well, in ranked mode, when you pick a character, that's what you carry on. You don't get to, in between matches, you don't get to change your fighter unless you back out of ranked mode. So like in lobby play, when you're playing with your friends, you should be able to have more time. But that's just a minor complaint. Lobby mode's in, it works, almost no lag. The game is great. That's about all I got.
Okay. Well, what have you been playing?
I played a little game called Satisfactory.
What is?
Oh, it's a good thing you asked. This is a game that is currently exclusive to the Epic Game Store,
Ooh.
which means, yeah, I'm on the Epic Game Store now. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah. Satisfactory. Just kind of a pun on the word satisfactory, but with the more emphasis on factory. It is a first-person open-world factory building game with a dash of exploration and combat. So you can think of it like a really awesome-looking version of Minecraft. You can't really dig into the ground or anything, but you can go and gather leaves and wood and mine for minerals from mining places, and then you just kind of build up from there. If you ever played Factorio on Steam or whatever else it's on, it's essentially a three-dimensional version of that top-down game. And just like in the opening, Tony said I befriended a lizard doggo. That's a thing you can do in the game. So,
Can you pet the lizard doggo?
the very first option you get on there is press E to pet the lizard doggo. There's no animation for it, but this is early access still, so eventually I'm sure it'll be petable. Right now, you get the pet option, but he sees you and backs away and tries to stay away. So you have to drop a item to feed him and let him approach it, and then you can approach him and pet him, or hit pet in quotations, we'll say. And that earns his trust, and from there he might run over and follow you around to the base that you build, and occasionally you can check him for a special item that he may have found. He's very adorable. At first he looks like a little shrimp monster that's about dog size running around, but that's a thing. Yeah. Right now in the game I'm kind of redoing my entire base that I've had since I started. There was the functionality of it was, it's there, but it wasn't cleanly done because at the time it just needed function. It didn't need sorting, I guess we could say. So that's what I've been doing probably the last couple of days, playing on there, getting everything reorganized. Had to destroy my space elevator I built and rebuild it with a foundation. Just cool little things you can do like that. If you've ever played Subnautica, that would be a good game to kind of compare it to, except on a more land-based than ocean-based.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never played that one, so I can't really make a comparison.
It's kind of the same situation. You're on an alien planet, survive by gathering resources and building your own stuff.
Yeah.
And there's other planets on this that I didn't know about, like an icy planet, I think, and something else. Either that or it starts me in like a different area of the planet you're on. I don't know. It does have multiplayer, and I do want to try that out sometime with someone, but might be a while before that happens. So, yep, that's it for me. What about you, Tony?
I bought a VR headset this week.
No way.
You don't say.
I did. Yeah, Labo came out with their VR headset. Nintendo dropped their VR headset made of cardboard, and I picked up the starter kit, which comes with the VR goggles themselves, and a blaster, which is a giant gun that you strap to your face. And you know what?
It's crazy.
It's awesome. I have had a ton of fun playing around with this. I know a lot of people, when they when Nintendo announced that they were doing a VR headset, sort of laughed it off and said it wasn't going to be any good. But it is. It really, really is. And everything I've seen on the internet so far from people reacting to it who have actually played it have said it is fantastic. And it is. It's not the high end type of VR stuff you're going to see with Oculus Rift or PlayStation VR or whatever. It's Labo or it's VR done Nintendo's way, but better than the virtual. So with this, the blaster, it comes with. There are a couple of different games you can play using it. There's one that has like 6 levels in it. That it's an on rails arcade shooter where there are aliens that are invading the city basically, and they're crawling up the walls and walking down the streets and flying in from above. They're all around you, and you just you've got the headset and you're moving around, you're shooting, and the blaster is built really, really well. Nintendo has done a lot of really neat stuff with Labo in terms of giving you something that gives you feedback physically, whether it's something as simple as some clicks when you're turning the steering wheels in the submarine kit, or the way you move the little levers on the sides of the steering wheel, things like that to do different things. And with this, they have actually created a way for it to recoil whenever you shoot the gun. So there is something inside it that they have specifically done using rubber bands and thick cardboard that gives you a somewhat realistic kickback when you pull the trigger.
It's engineering at its finest.
And then you reload it like a shotgun, so you pump it like a shotgun, and then it's ready for the next round. And you hit the trigger, and it recoils, and it feels really nice. And having the screen up against your face with the speakers, they actually have something, an option that they call 3D sound, which I've turned it on and off while it's up to my face, and I can hear a difference in the way the sound is, whether I've got that option turned on or turned off. But then, of course, they've also built in a way for you to plug in headphones to it if you want. And I plugged in headphones, completely immersed myself into that a few minutes before the podcast while I was playing, and it was a really, really fantastically fun experience. I only have the blaster. I didn't get the full set, which comes with like the bird and the foot pedal that blows air in your face and the camera and all that. Those I can pick up separately. There's one. I think the camera and one of them comes in one set, and then the bird and the little wind pedal comes in another. And those expansions are $20 a piece. The starter set was $40. And if you buy everything all together, it's $80. And I have had so much fun playing around with that. And Andrew has not stopped playing. If he's had an opportunity to be playing on the Switch, he has been playing with that VR head. It comes with 33 little like mini videos that if you watch them all back to back, just little demo videos basically of VR. So there'll be things like a guy who looks like he's from Daft Punk sitting across from you and sitting across the table from you, and he's doing the cups and balls game that you're trying to follow and keep, or there's dogs in a room and it looks like you're throwing a ball and playing fetch with the dogs, or you're out in the forest feeding deer, things like that. They're just simple little videos to show off some of the VR tech. And watching him do that, he's sitting there and he's got the goggles on his face and he's looking at the deer and he's just got this giant smile on his face as he's just watching these little videos. and then he had a ball playing the game, the blaster game. He helped put that together with me, and it says it takes about 3 hours to put the blaster together. It took us a little over an hour and a half to put the whole thing.
Good.
Uh,
Hmm.
So, and then there are, in addition to that, you've got something that they're calling the VR Plaza, which they say has 64 little mini games, but you won't have access to all of them unless you've bought the full. Because the game, the package, no matter which one you get, whether you get the starter set or the full package, comes with the same piece of software that has everything in it. And some of them, it won't let you play until you've unlocked those specific kits inside the game, and you can't build them unless you have them, so it won't unlock those games for you to play. So with the starter set, there's probably between 30 and 40 of these little mini games that you can play, and most of them are simple little things like you're looking over a car and there are some balls in the area, and then there's like a goal over at the end, and so you got to kind of play Rocket League to get the ball into the goal, and it takes 45 seconds to do, and that's all the game is. Or there's another one where you've got their little VR man kid head, and he looks like an artist's little reference doll type thing. And you've got to jump him up to these really high places, or make him spin in the air and break block. None of these mini games are super. That's not the little VR plaza is not where you're going to see them. It's in the main part of the game where you're doing the defending the city.
So I have a question.
Aliens and things like.
How does it know that you don't have a particular piece from the other set? Like, do you have to scan a QR code or something?
Yes, that's exactly what you.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you could find that online fairly easily and log it.
You might be able to.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's really it's been really fun. It's not super high tech. You're not dealing with high frame rates of things. I think most of the games are locked at like 30 frames a second, and you're dealing with 720p visuals. There's a lot of motion blur whenever you turn your head. You can tell there's some stuff that's going on because with your head, the image is clear, but the second you start to move your head, you can see everything getting a little blurry until you stop moving. I didn't find it too terribly distracting. It felt natural to me the way they were doing things. I'm sure with higher end VR head a big deal to them, but had not really having any experience with those. I didn't find any issue with it. It wasn't making me sick or distracting me in any way. The only thing that was distracting, if your Switch screen is not clean, you will know it. Because it magnifies every tiny little speck of dirt that is on that screen.
Yep.
So I have decided I really need to get a new screen protector for my Switch because there are a lot of little scratches on that thing that I didn't know were there. But overall, I am very impressed with it. It's given me a little bit more of a positive reaction to some VR stuff. I want to get some of the other bits. Really, the only other thing for this that I really want is the camera, because I really hope they do something with that in Pokemon. They really should. But I've heard a lot of people who have played it say that the game that comes with that, it's like a little bird racing game, is incredibly fun to play. But I haven't had a chance to try that one out. But initial impressions after with probably a couple hours of actually playing under my belt, very positive for Labo's VR kit. We're a couple weeks away from the Mario and Zelda update to allow VR support. And then I'm hoping that they continue to support it and add support for other games. I would really, really like to play Mario with this thing. The problem that I would see with that is you have to hold this thing up to your face. So there has to be some solution to allow you to strap it to your head so that you're not having to hold on to it the whole time you're playing.
That could be a problem considering all the other VR headsets strapped to your head.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can already tell the way you're going to have to play things like the Mario and the Zelda game. You're going to have the Joy-Cons strapped to the side of this thing with it up to your face. So your hands are going to be up there and you're trying to control this and things while they're up there right next to the side of your face. You're going to have a lot of stamina if you want to play through Breath of the Wild in VR.
Oh gosh.
Or just sit at your kitchen table and prop your elbows up.
Well, I thought I'm just going to have to do like people have done with the Virtual Boy and lay on the couch with it just sitting on my head with the Joy-Cons not attached to it so that I can a period of time. But I've already seen on Twitter people have already rigged solutions to just strap it to your head so you don't have to hold on to it.
There are plenty of like Google Cardboard things that used elastic or something to hold that thing to your face. So it wouldn't surprise me if somebody makes a third-party solution.
I would not be surprised. Like PDP or PowerA will have something out within a couple. I would think.
It also Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I saw people with just simple things as using a scarf and tying it to their head, and then other people who have actually rigged up Velcro strap and things that they've attached to it so that they could play without having to hold on to it.
So does the Switch itself have motion sensor in it, or is it just the controllers?
You can move things around without the controllers. The system itself has gyros in it as well.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I was concerned. Because I know the controllers did. I didn't know if just the tablet would. So some of that tracking, as far as like looking around, it worried me that it wouldn't work properly. Just strapping the tablet to your face.
Yeah, I mean, you can play without the controllers attached to it, and there are some things that you'll do that way. So the system itself does have motion controls. So one thing that I cannot figure out how they've done, if you're doing things without using the controller, you can actually double tap on the top right corner of the system, and that registers an input like an A button press. So you just move and you point the little circle in the middle of the screen at what you want to select, and then double tap the top right corner of the system, and it registers. I tried tapping every other corner of the system, and it did not register that tap.
It's weird.
So the motion controls and the sensitivity of that is they've figured out how to get it tight enough that you can only register things from a particular angle on the system, and it recognizes that. So, and the other thing they thought of too was that if you're very sensitive to like 3D, visuals and or motion sickness with that, you can actually play these things in 2D without having it stuck to your face. You can turn the VR mode off and just play like you're looking at the tablet itself, still with it in the blaster or the bird or whatever, so that you can have that same sort of experience without having to have it on your face if you don't, being confined or you have problems with VR visuals, whatever. You can play the games in 2D and not have to worry about any of that stuff, which I thought was a neat little addition to that. So, but overall, very, very, very impressed with Labo and the VR headset.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
but that is it for me. Unless you guys have any other questions about the Labos.
So I do. What kind of creativity do you think will come out of Labo VR? Because like the Toy-Con stuff and the vehicle kit, I saw a whole lot of stuff showing up across the internet of people making their own attachments and kind of using the Toy-Con garage to make unique things, like just making a guitar from scratch and coding it. What kind of creativity stuff do you see in Labo VR?
Well, this has its own separate VR Toy-Con garage, and it's as in depth or more than the Toy-Con garage from the previous Labo set. Andrew was already messing around in there and changing the way things sounded, creating his own unique sounds for things like the way the gun the sound it makes when you cock the gun, or he had it set so that it would make a sound if you hadn't loaded the gun yet, and things like that. So already in just the first couple of hours, he was already figuring out how to do things with it. I expect there'll be a lot of very interesting things that come out of this. The problem is going to be you can't share these with anybody other than like YouTube videos and showing them everything that you've done and having them be able to recreate on their system, because there's no way to share it with the community or anything like that. But knowing how creative things were with the other Toy-Cons, I think people are going to go nuts with this. I'm very interested in seeing what people come up with.
Okay.
So, but that will be it for me. So let's take a quick break, and we will come back and answer some questions from the listeners. And so we decided to skip the news section this week, and we're going straight to listener feedback. We got a couple questions in from the listeners, and the first one comes from Lang via Twitter, who wants to know, what is your perfect rainy day gaming day? I very much enjoy a simple grind like fishing on one screen and usually anime on a second. Throw a blanket is optional. So what about you guys? It's been super rainy here in Tulsa today, and I had a Labo VR kit strapped to my face.
For me, it was also rainy, and well, besides Satisfactory, I played a bunch of Destiny 2 today. So I guess that's kind of my new rainy day thing. Just play Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Also with something else on another screen.
So, for me, if it's rainy and I'm home alone, VR, obviously.
Yes.
However, if I've got kids in the house, it's not really a whole lot of video gaming. It might just be the TV on with some cartoons, and like today, it's been raining all day today, and I made some sourdough bread. Like I got my starter and everything done last night, and today I made a loaf of sourdough. So like I enjoy baking. I know tomorrow I definitely want to make some banana nut muffins. But I don't know. That's a go-to in a full house more than video games, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, around here, there's not a ton of that either. If it's warm outside and it's not, thunderstorm, we'll go out and play in the rain a lot of times. But more often than not, it's, curling up on the couch and watching a movie, or catching up on some wrestling that I've missed, or just reading a book. So, and then if there's a nice thunderstorm going on, we'll sit out on the porch and watch the rain and the lightning and things like that. We don't usually play a ton of stuff around here, like on days like that. From Chris via Facebook wants to know, what are our thoughts on the Star Wars trailer, Rise of Skywalker? What does it mean? Was that Palpatine at the end laughing, or was it Mark Hamill thinking he was doing a Joker voice? So have you guys seen the Star Wars trailer that dropped this weekend?
Didn't know there was one.
Yep. I saw it. I don't have an honest opinion or a thought. I'm just kind of done with Star Wars.
I think Mark Hamill said himself, Star Wars fatigue is real.
For a lot of people it is, but for a lot of people it's not. They still get very, very excited about new Star Wars. Am not entirely sure what I think. I'm still not entirely sure what I think of Episode 8. I go back and forth on whether I really liked it or really didn't. The subtitle has me really confused. I'm not sure what Rise of Skywalker means. Because if it's dealing with Rey, then they've been lying to us the whole time. Because they've said Rey is not a Skywalker. Said she comes from a nobody family.
She is the illegitimate child of Luke's uncle and aunt that he lived with.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm making up lore right now.
That's an interesting. So there could be something. I don't know. So I'm very, very confused about the subtitle to the movie. And then I do think the at the end that was Palpatine laughing. It seemed very, very clear that was his laugh. What exactly that's going to mean, if that has some super significant meaning, I don't know. There's some interesting stuff going on with Kylo. He's putting his helmet back together that he destroyed in the last movie. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm going to go see this movie. It's one of the main movies in the story, so those are the ones that get me really excited. This sort of spin-off movies that we've had recently haven't done a lot for me. But really, I'm going to finish this story out, if nothing else. And I need to rewatch episodes 7 and 8 and continue to, sort of form my opinions of those movies.
Yeah, so the way I have handled Star Wars after watching Solo is I'm going to watch them at the watching them at the drive-in. And I don't say that to sound negative or to take anything away, because I will go see it, but I'm going to go see it at the drive-in when I can pair it with another movie that I care a little bit more about watching. So,
or that you can just drive away if you're done with
it. Like our drive-in theater in Memphis, they do double features, so it's more like if we'll do Star Wars as the latter movie that we watch, so we'll go see something different to begin with, and then usually by that time Travis is asleep in the back seat and start watching Star Wars, and Lauren's out in 20 minutes. And it's like, and then it becomes a conversation in my own head of, do I care enough about what's happening to stay awake and watch the rest of it?
I'm not sure you'll be able to see this one at your drive-through, though, because it's not till Christmas time.
What do you mean? Our drive-in is year-round.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
The one here in Tulsa is not.
Oh, okay.
So they close in the middle of the fall and then reopen in the middle of the spring.
Yeah, our drive-in here is year-round, but in the wintertime, they're only open on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So.
All right. There you go. Any other thoughts about the Star Wars trailer?
Nah.
Nope.
All right. Well, I guess that will be the show for this. So thank you, Shannon, for being on the show.
Glad to be back.
Welcome back, sir. It was good to have you. And thank you, Ethan, for being on the show as well.
I really hope the audio is good on this one.
Me too. If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.